Hey Missouri, my name is December and I'm a member of the New Left. The New Left. And by the way, you can become a member of the New Left too. Visit thenewleftparty.com, donate some money to help us get off the ground, and also sign up to volunteer to join us when we do our petition drive. Or if we've already done our petition drive, just join us anyway. We want you here. Welcome to History is Crazy, and today we're going to learn about Julia Dent Grant, who, if you don't know, was the wife of Ulysses S. Grant, who was a Union general turned U.S. president. We're going to learn about his wife today. Julia Boggs Dent, her maiden name, she grew up in St. Louis on her father's slave plantation. She had her own slaves on the slave plantation, meaning she was a slave master. I'm telling you this because I want you to know that this video is actually not about slavery. This video is not about the Civil War. And it's not even about racism. No, this video is about accidental feminism, if you can believe it. I have to tell you that I came across today's story when I accidentally came across this super weird Facebook post by the Ulysses S. Grant National Historical Site that says, Julia Grant was an advocate for women's suffrage and never spoke in favor of the women's rights movement. It says, as First Lady, she generally kept her political opinions to herself. Isn't that a little weird? Am I the only one? I thought that was just super crazy to just, okay. Now, I went on with my life, but you know me, I'm a curious person. I just kept thinking, why would they post that about his wife? So I decided to dig up the post again and see if I can get a little bit more context. Well, Christmas came early for December when I went to the comment section. There was only one comment because only one person thought they should take time to respond to this, and it wasn't going to be me, so God bless them. The Ulysses S. Grant Collective Project. I don't know who these people are, but I love them. They said, well, actually, there was evidence that she was a feminist. Not only did they clap back, but they brought receipts. And you better believe I clicked on that link and started reading. Because I was like, I gotta tell people about this later. Susan B. Anthony, or as you may know her. Wait, do I have a coin? Oh my God, let's get some coins. Susan B. Anthony, or as you may know her, Susie B., the woman on the dollar coin. Susie B. wrote, Mrs. Julia Grant sent her regards and sympathized with our movement. Julia had a close relationship with the Women's Suffragist Association, and Susan B. Anthony, Susie B., she worked with Ulysses when he was president to advance women's rights. Also, the claim that Julia wasn't involved in politics, I'm not sure where that comes from. She held meetings with Lincoln, and she even asked to be a diplomat. She wanted to be the Union emissary to the Confederates because she believed that if she could just talk to them, she could convince them out of having a civil war. I don't know how we're using the term not involved in politics, but this seems pretty involved in politics to me. Isn't that exactly what this means? Which personally, I would have said let her go at it. She's one of their peoples anyway. I didn't forget. Did you all forget that part? So yeah, I would describe her as involved in politics. I would also describe her as a feminist. Okay, except for when it came to Mary Todd. She did not like Mary Todd Lincoln.
She has this black cloud over her head of people thinking that she fed her husband to the tiger.
In fact, she was so opposed to spending more time with Mary Todd than she was legally obligated to that she skipped a personal invite from Lincoln to see Our American Cousin at the Ford Theater. What? No one's going to get the joke? I need to explain it? No, I'm not going to explain a joke because then Dave says that I have to explain the joke because no one's going to get it. She missed the night of Lincoln's assassination because she was too busy being petty. You happy? Did you get the joke now? Is it funny? It's not funny still? Okay. Sorry. Oh, I still need to tell you about Julia Dent's accidental feminism. Are you still here for it? Let's go. When Ulysses marries Julia, her dad gives Ulysses a section of the plantation property, the one that's in St. Louis, Missouri. Ulysses and the slaves build a cabin on the property named Hardscrabble. The idea This was the man's idea. The idea was that he and Julia would live on the property and live happily ever after. But after about 3 months, Julia was like, this was cute and everything, and I appreciate the effort, but we're moving. She was already packing her bags, saying, look, we're out. I gave it a chance, and that was all you asked of me, and that's all I'm giving you. So pack your shit. Pack your shit. They moved, and since they weren't living on the property, it was kind of becoming an inconvenience to maintain. So they decide that they should sell it. Grant makes a deal with a guy named Joseph White, who lives in St. Louis. They decide to trade houses, but hardscrabble was worth more money. White agrees to make payments for the next 5 years to cover the difference. But then the Civil War happens, and White stops making payments, and hardscrabble gets repossessed. Ulysses is now a Union general on campaign in Mississippi. He can't come to the door right now. So Julia got tasked with reclaiming hardscrabble. Julia has to go to St. Louis and purchase the property back. This is where history gets crazy. It's 1863, and despite having built hardscrabble, they now have to go to the bank and buy it back. Thanks to this asshole. She comes to find that Joseph White is still living there. He's still living in the house. The cabin. Now, hey, she may be a slave master, but she's not a monster, okay? Even though it's well documented that one of her slaves had to escape her. Outside of that, she's definitely not a monster. She's just a horrible person. She agreed to let White continue to live on the property as a tenant, and he would pay her rent, which he didn't do. 2 years later, it's 1865. And Julia is like, raise up, it's time to go. Your lease is over. Not only did he not pay her rent for these 2 years, but when the lease was over, he was telling her that he wasn't going anywhere. Audacity. So the Grants take Joseph White to court and they lose. But then they take him to the appeals court and they win. Should be over. But Joseph White decides, no, we're taking this to the Missouri Supreme Court. History is crazy, but audacity is real. You might be asking yourself, what right does this hobosexual have to take them to court after he went years, not paying rent? He's still living there. He's still living there, by the way, while this is all happening. This mother. He claims that because Julia had a vagina, I'm going to put the word right here to make sure you can see it. That because Julia had a vagina, she had no authority to enter into contract with him over the property, and therefore could not legally charge him rent. Okay? I just want you to understand how stupid our world is. Also, that she didn't have the rights to the property to charge him rent in the first place because of the vagina. Anyway, it's now 1868. 3 years after Joseph White was supposed to move out at the end of the lease. The Missouri Supreme Court hands down its decision in favor of Julia. They ruled that not only did Julia have the right to enter into contract with him, but that women in Missouri had the right to own property. For context, up until this point in time, only Maine, Michigan, and New York permitted married women, and only married women, to be allowed to own property. The Missouri Supreme Court had ruled that both married and single women could own property, meaning that there was once a time in history where women in Missouri had more rights than any other women in the country. Thanks for watching. My name is December, and hey, welcome to the New Left. You can keep watching at thenewleftparty.com.